So what is our project today? As you can see, our project today is what we call the grocery bot or to-do list. They are the same idea. I mean, it's the same, whatever you want to call it. To-do list or grocery bot. So the idea is quite simple. You have a title here, as you can see. You have a card, of course. And here's a container, include everything. You have a title, so the title is static. And then you have an input here. And in this input, you can type some stuff. For example, go or buy a food for the cat, for example. Now you can type stuff, new item like that, and you can click on submit or just hit enter. If I do so, it will show this element I create at the top. Notice, enter, and while I buy a food for a cat. And now here, at the same time, I can also update this item if I want to. Notice if I click on this button, what will happen? This button will change. It was submit, now it will become edit, and it will show all of that. This one, buy food for cat here, and then I can modify. So click, as you can see, now I have edit, and I have the text here. And let's see, the dog, for example. I can modify it, enter, and while it's been modified. I can delete it. Here, I can delete all if I want to. And of course, when I refresh it, I already have some hard-coded data, so I will have my data back again. That's simply my project. Any question about the project? Question?
Looks great.
No? Yes?
Looks great.
Okay. So let's try first to inspect. Before even I start anything, I need to just go to my index.html. That's my index here. I already have font awesome. As you can see at the top, I've linked my font awesome. You already have them as a link. I'm linking my styles. As you can see, that's my style.css. Actually, I'm going to copy the style. I don't want to write the style here because what's important for me is the person concerned. Title is grocery bot. Other than that, I'm just linking my my JavaScript source init.js. That's it. Okay, fine. What should I do? First, I need to think a little bit. Which part of my website is static and which part of my website is dynamic? Can anyone tell me? Which part is static and is dynamic? Yes.
Header, input, and button.
So this title, of course, it's static, is never going to change. The input is kind of static, as you can see, because it's not changing all the time. It's there. And yeah, but this item here, they cannot be static. Why? Why this item cannot be static?
Because they change every time.
Because they change all the time, and I need to be able to create them also. So here, as you can see, when I create a new item and I hit enter, a new one being created. So I cannot do that statically. I need to do that dynamically. So let's go here. Let's click on inspect. And when you inspect, I'm mentioning some basic information just for a So when you write in inspect, you have a lot of different tabs, as you can see. One of the important one here is the element. So the element show me what different HTML element, and that's what we call the DOM. Okay. So it show me my different element here. If I click on this one, as you can see, is the form here, and I can inspect any element I want to. And of course, it will not just show me the HTML, also it will show me the style. So if I go to the second part and click on style, so it will show me, if I select this element, it will show me any class related to this element, like that, like that. And if I want to change on a fly, by fly, I mean, if I want to just modify some code, but it will not be saved just to see how it look like, I can come and then select this element.style. And I can, for example, I can say color. And here I can change the color according to my need until I like one specific color. And after that, I can just copy it to my VS Code if I want to. Remember, these changes are not saved. So when I refresh, it will be gone. That's first. So that's my style here. Everything computed here, it show you. So any element I select, let's select this one. It will show you the element. It will show you the padding, if there is any padding, the border, and the margin. And in here, you can just calculate this value here, as you can see. Other than that, event listener is important. Why event listener is important? Because let's say I have this button, and I want to know if there is any event being added to this button. So all I have to do is just inspect. And when I inspect, notice I have an event listener on it. It's click. And here, when I click on it, it will take me directly to the handler. So if I click on this one, voila, that's my handler. And as you can see, it shows me the button here, and it shows me that's my handler. You need to learn this debugging technique because if you need actually to be very good at them. Is the idea clear so far?
Yes.
You have
Yes.
the console, and the console you can add some any calculation if you want to. If you have some code like one line or two, you want just to test them very quickly, you can just do them as a console. The network, we're going to use it when we study asynchronous programming. Performance, I need to explain the performance for you. Because performance, it's check if my website, how is the performance, is it better or is it bad? And I can record a snapshot. So if I click on this one, see it's the profile is being recorded. So I refresh my website. And after that, I can do some tests like that. And I will stop now. That's the first snapshot, as you can see, and it give me a lot of information, as you can see. So it's telling me it takes 3 milliseconds to load my page here. The scripting here, the JavaScript, 28 milliseconds. Rendering my data in the DOM, 16 milliseconds. And so painting here is just CSS, it takes 11 milliseconds. The system, because my system also needs some time here, 53 milliseconds, and calculate all the time. But now if you look at my website, actually, it's not taking a lot of time. So if the website is really, really heavy, it's slow and it's taking a lot of resources, you see this one is being shifted here and you see this value a lot larger. Is the idea clear? I will teach you in detail the performance and the memory, especially memory leak are a bit advanced, but they're quite important. Remind me also, I need to explain the application for you. So I need to explain what is local storage, what is session storage, and what are cookies. Those three are quite important, especially on the backend. We use the cookies a lot. So you need to know how to use cookies. Other than that, security, that's not that. Lighthouse, no. Performance inside, no. So I need to explain performance, memory leaks, and also application later on. But for now, let's go to our element. Now, as you can see here, I'm trying to copy this website, and this website, it has a section, as you can see. So I have one section with a class called section center. Okay, fine. So all I have to do, I have to create this one. Of course, to do containers, that's my to-do. So that's the to-do container, and that's the clean button here. So what I can do, if I want just to copy this star, I can actually right-click on that, and I can say edit as HTML. And if I say edit as HTML, as you can see, it shows me all my HTML. And I can just copy this one if I want to, voila. Or maybe I can actually make it a little bit simpler even. Let's refresh. Let's delete all these elements so I don't have any, I have an empty stuff. And then I can just right click here and then edit as HTML. And as you can see here, I don't have a lot of item here. I can just copy it. No, actually I need to do that and here because I need to copy everything. Voila, that's my section. I'm gonna copy everything. And all I have to do now, I have to paste it here. So what do I have here? Well, I have a section with class section center. And then I have a form. My form here, I'm just creating a form. Why? Because I want, when I click on the button, submit, or when I click enter, I want my form to be, I want my item to be added. So in this case, it's creating a form, it will be better. Of course, I have a class which is called alert. Alert here, it will show you some stuff. For example, if the user try to add an item without title, we will see it now. After that, we have a to-do list. Then we have form control. I have my input, that's my input here. And then I have a button type submit. Of course, I have an error message if the user, as I told you, try to do anything, something not allowed, I need to show the user a message error like that. After that, I have another div, and this div I have to-dos container, and that's my to-do list. So I need to append all my to-do here inside this item. And here's the button, which is clear all. So I have everything. Now what I need to do, I need to go to my CSS here. I copied everything, but let's go to my CSS here, and I will try to copy all the CSS because simply I am not interested in the CSS. But you should be able to create your own CSS. Voila. Now let's open this one and see what we have. Okay, that's mine, and that's so as you can see, so I have my element here. I have to-do list. I have my input. I have a button submit. As you can see, all style has been implemented, which is nice. Okay.
Samir, what's the P alert? There is a paragraph alert.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. P. Let's see. Actually, let's try to add this one. No. That's mine. I need to go to the other one. Yep. Okay. Clicking from the class name, probably it's alerting the user for something, but let's see. Let's click submit. And no, here it's not alert. P tag, great. Actually, it's nothing, I think. I don't think we are using it at all, Agnieszka. Let me delete it here. So I can also delete DOM element if I want to. If I right click on this one and I say delete element, it will remove the element. So actually nothing is, this P alert is nothing. What's important here is this message actually, and this message, it will be in the error here, as you can see here. Okay, so let me remove this, what's it, P alert. I'm not sure if I have any CSS alert, so let's go here. Let's see, do we have anything alert? Alert. No, as you can see, I don't have any classes for alert, so it was
You did typo, alert.
alert. Actually, I have
I-
it. Margin bottom, height, display, align item center, alert danger, alert success. Not sure. Let's try again. That's not mine. Yeah, okay, let's try submit. Nothing. Let's try to add something here. Submit. I don't think I'm using it, Agnieszka.
Okay.
No, it's not inside the functionality. So
And what happens when you delete an element?
Nothing. Just the element.
Maybe you can try with numbers.
Numbers.
Yeah.
Let's try. No, it's okay. This is alert.
Or maybe it's if you edit and you click edit and then remove the text.
No, I think I was thinking to add show some message that's been added successfully, but I didn't implement it in my code, so I'm gonna get rid of it. Okay, alert is gone. That's my form, which should be okay. I have my to do. I have my for control. I don't care about anything. I have submit button. But my question here: why is the type of the button is submit? Can anyone tell me why is the type of button I make it submit?
Yeah, also I would like to ask if the type is not submit, then you cannot use enter. It is for this or not?
Yes.
If you didn't put the type submit, you cannot use enter to submit.
True.
You need to click.
So yes, indeed. If the type is submit and I click on enter, it will try to, it will try just to submit my form. Indeed, that's the reason why if the type is bottom, it will not work with enter. It will only work when I click on the bottom, and that's not what I want to. I want to be able, that's not mine. So I want to be able to add an element in two ways. That's my element. When I click on submit, that's first way, and the second way, if I do that and click enter, and voila, both of them is working. So that's the reason why the type of the bottom need to be submit, and I put it inside a form. Is the idea clear why we choose here type submit?
Yes.
Okay, so now first let's go to our data. I don't have any data, so I can just copy the data from the old website. Let's go here, let's go to source. The data should be very simple. So data, as you can see, I'm gonna copy this one. And now let's go to my data. Data.js. I'm gonna just copy this one here. Of course, my data are not correct because what I'm trying to do now is grocery, but it's not a to-do list. So I need to get rid of some of them. Maybe I can just keep only two. And now I need to modify them a little bit, actually. Why I did this one? Yeah, just for the ID here. So let's say ID now should be 3. Okay, so here instead of go to the doctor, I can say, for example, buy what grocery do normally buy a bread or buy bread. Well, bread is not correct. What else we buy in the grocery?
X.
Eggs.
Mhm.
By milk or eggs, whatever.
Chocolate.
Yeah, we can, after that, we can add a lot of stuff. Now, for now, as this data, I just want to show two, that's enough for me. After that, you can add your own data. But anyway, now here, as you can see, the ID is 1, the ID is 2. Now I put ID one property here. It's not belong to the array. It belong to just, it's a property inside my data, which is called ID 3. Can anyone predict why I'm adding this ID 3? Can anyone tell me why I'm adding this property? Just predict. You don't have to give me the right answer. Why I add this property 3? So the ID here is 1. The ID here is 2. And then I have 3. Are they connected?
No, they're not. It's like an item. Item with array and separate
So
ID.
you will add, you able to be add new
item.
tests.
Indeed, so this ID, I'm gonna use it later on when I create a new item, because here I don't know by default how many items already there. Now here, if it's 3, that means I will use this ID as the first item. So it will be 3 for my new item, and then I will need to increment it. When I use the ID, I need to increase it, make it 4, and then 5, and 6, and so on, and so on, and so on. Like that, I will make sure that I have a unique ID. But anyways, that's not a problem. Okay, let's select our DOM element now. That's my data. Is very simple. I have items or whatever, just items. It's just an array. And inside this array, as you can see, I have 2 items. Both of them are object. ID is 1 as a text by bread or by milk here. I just put this property ID 3 in case I want to create a new item. And if I want to create a new item, I need to start from an ID. But I already have ID 1, ID 2, so I cannot start from 1 or 2. So just give me an idea from which ID I can start. That's okay. Let me open first my index.html. And also I'm gonna open my dom.js to see what element I need to select. So let me click here. So what do you think? Which element do I will need here? So I will just say const dom, it's equal to an object, as you already know. And then I need to export it directly. exp, and here DOM, voila. So what do you think, what DOM element I will need here? Will I need the
Input.
input here?
The input, yes.
Of course I will need the input. So here I can just say input. And of course, when I say input here, I just say document. I need to go to the input. Do I have an ID on the input? Yes, I do
Yes.
have an ID. So I can just use dot get element by ID. And the ID is what? Is input here. No, it's actually to do input. So let me copy this one. Let me just put this one here.
And why element ID?
Hash. Can I add hash like that here? It will work if I add hash or not.
No.
So if I came here and I add hash, am I allowed to do so?
No,
Why?
because it's already, you're using get element by ID, so it's already an ID.
Indeed. So because we are using get element by ID, I just need to pass the ID. If I pass hash, it will look for an element where the ID start with hash and then this one, and you will not find it. So you are not allowed to put any hashes here. You'll just pass your ID, which is to do input. Do I need this submit button or not?
Yes.
Yes, I have a class on it, right?
Yes.
So let's say submit button. Let's just say button btn, because I have only one button. So I need to say document dot, which element, which method I need to use?
Query selector.
Query selector, it will be a good option. And of course, query selector, I need to pass, is it a class or is it an ID? And here, my class here for the button is submit btn. Or you can name it here submit btn as well, just to give it better naming. So submit, and here, let's just name it btn, voila. So I have the input, I have submit btn. Do I need the error here? Do I need?
Yes.
Of course I need it, because I need to show the user some messages. So I need somehow to select the error here. So here, let's just name it error like that, and all should be lowercase, error, which will be document, query selector error, and it has a class called error, as you can see. Now from here, I don't need this container here, but I need this to-do list. So I will put all my to-do here, right? Do I need that or not?
Yes.
So what should I name it? To-dos or to-do container, whatever you want to. It's fine. Document.query selector, it's a class, right? So I need to use query selector and I need to pass a dot. And then what is the name of the class? The name of the class is to-dos list. Okay, finally, I have this button, which is clear button, which when I click on it, it will clear everything here. So if this guy here, if I click on it, it will delete everything or clear everything. So I need to select it as well. What do we name this button here? Clear all, maybe? Clear. Clear BTN. Let's name it just clear BTN, like that. Of course, I need to use query selector as well because I have a class, and as you can see, it's dot clean BTN. So as I've select all the DOM element I need for now, which is fine. Click, I am exporting them, so that should be fine. So I have my data, I have my DOM, here is my init. And the component, I have nothing, the event, I have nothing, handler, nothing, util function, nothing. Let's go to the event first. Now, I will name it just load event. There is a reason why we name it load event.js. So the first question here, if I go to my demo here, notice, if I refresh the page, what's going on? What will happen? What happened here when I refresh the page?
You're loading all the static elements.
Indeed. So here we have an event, and this event, it will be load. Whenever my application is being loaded, it will go through my data. And for each data here, it will create a to-do item. As you can see, this is item, and then it will append it inside to-do list. So if I go to inspect it, as you can see, that's my to-do list here, and it will add all my item here, as you can see. That's fine. That's not bad. Now here, I will click on this one, and I can see also this to-do list, what is consist of here. So this element to-do list here, it has a class to-do item, it has an ID, and then inside it, we have a paragraph title. Then we have another div with class BTN container, and inside this one, we have two buttons, delete button and edit button. Okay, that's fine. So now I know I have an event, so I can just now create a function, so it calls, or should name it load event. Voila. And I don't need all of that, so Control Z, load event. And load event, of course, it will be an arrow function. Voila. Do I need to export it or not?
Yes,
Export it. Why?
because I need to put to the main JS file,
Yes, so
which is linked to your HTML.
included all the event, I need to import them inside init.js. Import is called load event. Voila. And we call init.js the entry point. Can anyone tell me what is the entry point?
Because it's connected with HTML.
Yeah, but why do we call it the entry point?
That's where everything will begin from.
Indeed. So the entry point that means when my HTML, my DOM is being loaded, my CSS, after that it will, because this one is connected, it will go directly to the init and then it will be executed. This file, it will be executed. So this file only is connected, so it will be executed, and it will go to this file which is called in the event load events, and it will load the file and so on. But what's important here, this init, we call it the entry point because this file, it will be executed when my code here, my DOM is being loaded. So the JavaScript part, this file, it will be executed. That's why we call it the entry point. Okay, Agnieszka? Because I saw you new issue as you did not check on the entry point. Yeah?
In my issue?
Check it. Don't worry, it's fine. Okay, now I'm executing this one here, that's fine. Let's go to my load event. My load event here, now I need to add an event here. Will I will add it to the document, or will I add it to the window, and why? So I will add it to the window, or I will add it to the document, and why?
Window,
Why?
because it's loading, it load first.
So the load event exists on the window, does not exist on the document. That's the reason why I have to use the window here. And here, of course, I need a handler. This handler, I'm not going to create it here. I'm going to create it inside the handler. So I will just name it load handler directly. Of course, I don't have it. It will give me an error now. Why? Because I don't have load handler yet. So let me copy this one. And of course, I need to import it. Although I don't have it yet, but I need to import it from handler.loadhandler.js. And now I need to create it. Load handler like that. I will go to my handler. Voila. Load handler.js. Voila. So as you can see here, that my function is fine. I have the file. I still did not create the function, but my handler is called load handler. Let's go here. In this created, I will just say const load handler. It will be an arrow function, as you can see. And here, of course, I need to export it directly. Why? Why do I need to export it? Because I need to use it inside the event, right?
Yes.
Cool. Now, where is my, here is mine. So now here, if I refresh, see, the page has been loaded. That means everything is connected correctly. And of course, if I want to know which line of code or which function is responsible for this one, if I click on this one, it will directly take me to my handler. And voila. So what should I do here in my handler? What should I do? Can anyone tell me what should I do inside this handler? As usual, what should we do here?
Import data in DOM.
I need to import data in DOM, absolutely. So import data, and of course from dot/data.js, and I need to import the DOM as well. Import DOM, voila. Now we are saying dot. There is a reason for that because I am inside the handler folder. So if I want to go up one level, I need to say dot slash, then I will go to up one level, then I need to go to do data or dom.js. Because these two here, as you can see, they're outside of, they're not inside the handler. And I am now inside the handler. Here, that's my file, I'm here. I want to go up one level, so to do that, dot slash, that means go up one level. I will go up one level, now I am inside src, and then go to data.js or dom.js. Okay, fine. Now, what should I do here? Okay, I have my data. Of course, as you see, my data are an object, and inside this object, I have an array. It's normal, I'm going to loop through this array, right? So I can just say data dot, and here I have ID. I don't care about the ID. I care about the item. That's my array. Data.id, of course, dot for each, as you know. And for each, what is for each is higher order method, as you know. It take a function as a parameter. So here for each item, so I can name it item, single item. And now here, what I can do here, I can just log it for me. So let's log our item. Of course, if I log my item, what do you think it will give me? If I log my item, what do you think it will give me?
Object.
Of course, it will be an object. Why? Because simply my data are here inside the array, as you can see, I have object. So it's array of objects. Voila. Now, what I need to do, let's just go here to my website. That's mine, I suppose. And if I refresh, as you can see, so I have ID1 text by bread and by a milk. Later on, maybe you can create an object with ID 3 or 4, something like that, and text by some stuff. Send it on Slack, and I will just add it because I don't want to waste time here. Guys, just give me a second. Hello? So, as you can see here in my handler, I'm just going through my data, my item, then for each. Of course, because it's item plural, it doesn't make sense to name it item as a singular. And as you can see, the item here, it will have an ID. It's an object with ID. It will be a number, and text, it will be a string. So I'm logging my data. Of course, I shouldn't log my data. I should do something now. I should create some DOM element, and then after that, I need to append it to the parent of the to-dos, which I don't know what it is. Let's see here. Not container, this guy here, which is to-dos list here. I need to append it here. So what should I create here? Can anyone tell me what should I create? Let's go in here and see what should I create here. So I need to create a to-do item here. So what should I create first?
Div.
Div with class to-do item and ID. ID will come from my data. Okay, so the ID is coming from my data, and here I need to add a class which is called to-do item. So let's create first the container here. Of course, I'm gonna write it here. After that, I need to create a separate component function for that. But for now, it's fine. So I'll just say const. Let's name it, I don't know, container. It's equal to document dot create element. And what is the element? It's a div, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and I've created my div. And here, of course, I need to add a class. So class list add. It will be container.class list add, but the class was to-do dash item. So I need to add to-do dash item. Do I need to add an ID or not?
Yes.
Of course, I need to add an ID. How can I add an ID? Container dot.
ID.
So I can just say container dot ID. It will be equal from my data item dot ID, because this is here item my object and say dot ID. Fine, I added a class, I added an ID, that's perfect. Now what do I need to do here inside it? I need to create two stuff. I need to create a p tag with class title, and I need to append the title inside it. Then I need to create another div with class button containers. So I need to create a button container as well. So first, let's start with the p tag here. So I need to add title. Let's just name it title like that. So I can just say const title. It's equal to document dot create element. The element was p tag, right?
Yes.
No. Now I need to add text inside it. How can I add a text inside it?
Inner
Title.
text.
Yeah. So I can just say title dot inner text or inner HTML. Here is no different. It will, of course, it will equal to item which my object dot text. Voila. And now I added a text inside it. Does it has any class? Yes, it has a class called title. So I need to add the class here. So let's add the class a little bit before here. So I can just say title dot class list dot add. And here I need to add a class called title. That's fine. That's good. I finished with the title. Now I need to create a button container. So I will just name it buttons container like that. Okay, const btn's container. It's equal to document dot. I will just create btn like that container. So button container here, it will be a div, as you can see. And if I go back now to here, it is actually a div with class btn container. So let me copy this class so I don't make any mistake. Voila. So how can I add a class? btn container dot class list dot add, and here should be btn container. Voila. Is the idea clear so far?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's clear.
Yes.
Yes.
Now inside the button, I need to create two other buttons, right? As you can see. So I need to create button with class edit btn and another one btn button class delete btn. So let's try to do the same. So I need to create two buttons actually. So let's go here and here. Let's add first edit button. It's fine. Edit button document.create button, as you can see. I need to add a class to it. So the class, I don't know if it's edit button or not. It is indeed edit button. So it is edit button. And now here I need to create the second one actually, the second button, which will be delete button, which will be the same exactly. So delete button, same idea, it's button. And then here I need to add a class delete button, but let me make sure the class is correct. Delete button. Fine, that's nice. Now, inside this button, as you can see, I have something. Can anyone tell me what is this thing? What is
It's an icon.
It is an icon, so it's font awesome icon. So what I can do here, I can copy this icon actually if I want to. So right click, edit as HTML, and now here I can just copy this icon. Voila. But now how can I add this icon inside my button? Any idea? How can I add it inside my button? So I want to put this icon inside my button, which is edit button. How can I do it?
It's not something like inner, no,
Yes, it
inner
is.
text,
No, it's
inner,
inner.
HTML.
Yes. Edit button dot inner HTML. So inner HTML, the difference between inner text is just render text. But inner HTML, if I have any HTML tag, it will render it as it's not inner text, either HTML. Voila. And as you can see, I can just paste this one like that, but of course it must be stringy. So like that and like that. Must be stringy, and now it will work. But here I have one extra. Voila. So now what inner HTML is doing, it will take this tag and it will see, it's HTML tag. So it will render it as a HTML tag. And like that, I don't have to create a new element and add these classes and then append it. It's just shorthand. Same idea for this one here. I also need to add inner HTML, but I'm not sure about the classes, so I need to check. So here, what is the class? So here, if edit, and for the delete, it's if trash. If trash, if edit. So that's okay. Now, after I created this item, I need to append each one to the correct place. So first, the container. What should I add to the container? Let's go back here and see our button. Click on here in the button container. That's my guy here. I need to add the title and the button container to it. So I need to add 2 items here. Okay, so first I need to add the title, then I need to add the button container. So let's go to our container, and here I can just say dot append, and first I need to append what? I need to append title and then button container, right? Fine, but now here's the problem here. I did not add here in the button container. I need now to add these 2 buttons also to the button container, right? So what I can do here, I can just say btn container dot append edit button first and then delete button, and that should be fine. Now my container is being created, everything is fine. I just now need to add it to the correct place inside my DOM, right? So I need to say DOM dot to-dos. I think I name it to-dos if I'm not mistaken. To-dos dot append or append child, it doesn't matter here. And now here I need to append my container. Voila. And now here, if I go to my website, that's my website, right? Fresh. And here I have buy bread, buy milk. But of course, now the buttons are non-functional yet. I need to work on the functionality later. But now, as you can see, my item is there. Everything is fine. And if I go to my data and add another item, so we have 2, which is buying a milk. Let's buy something else. What should we buy?
Bread is already there.
Bread is already
Vegetable or cookie.
vegetables. Cookie. Okay, fine. That's cookie. Let's make it 4 then. Of course, if it's 4, that this one here must be 5, right? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So coffee or cookies. That should be good. Now here, if I go to my website.
Samir, on the line 17 also, you need to change ID.
ID 4.
Where line 17?
Yeah, ID
84.
4.
Should be 4, right? You're right. I'm mistaken now. Okay, so I have 4 items now, and here the ID is 5, because next item I will create, I want the ID to be 5. That's fine, because my item is being created. That's not bad here for now.
Can I interrupt you? Sorry. And why do we need recorded data? Why we just can't push inside empty object?
You mean here why we didn't need this data?
Yeah, why we need recorded data if we can use just empty array with empty object inside?
We can use an empty array and it will show nothing for us. But it's really depend on your test. It's not something we need to do, Daria. It's for me, I think it's nice to have some item here. Other developers think it should be empty actually, because it's like a to-do list or grocery bot, and there should be empty, and you need to add your item. Did you get the point?
But
got-
this is the idea, no? To
Hmm?
add your own item.
It's not a good idea or bad idea. It really depends what do you want from the application. If you want your application to already have some items, like I do, it's a good idea to add your data. If you don't want any item, it's a good idea to create an empty array. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
But I think it's easier to create all the buttons functionality if you have already something. But if everything will work, so then you can delete it and have empty array. Yeah.
But it's really not that difficult, Agnieszka. Even if, let's say, I have nothing here, if the functionality is working, I can just add an item and then I can test the delete and edit. So yeah, it's really depend what you want. For me, I think it's nice to have some item here. Then the user, if he wants, he can clear all. Of course, it's not functional now, or he can delete one or he can edit one. The most important thing now is the load event now currently is working perfectly. I don't have any problem, as you can see. Now, what do I need to do really? I need to work on the functionality of this button, this one and this one, make this one, edit this one. When I click on this one, it should show this text here and I will need to be able to edit it. And if I click on enter or edit this one, I need to change it. It should update my text first. And if I click on the delete, it should be able to delete my item. If I click on this one, it should delete all my item here. And also I need to be able to edit a new item or a new to do inside this list. So the first step is finished. Let's go to the second step. Click, click, and now let's go here. Now, if we go to this guy here, I don't like this guy being here, right? I mean, he's really ugly. What do you think? Can I clean a little bit my handler?
Yes, you can.
Yes.
So I can create a component function. What should I name it? Create.
Items.
Create item, not items, item, because it's one. Create item. .js. Voila. And now here I can create my function. So const create item. And create item, of course, you need to take an object. Item data. And you may tell me why, because simply I will need to take some data because I will need the ID and I will need the text. Otherwise, I'll not be able to do them. So I will say exp, I will export it directly, create item, voila. If I go to my handler, notice now here, this item here, I'm receiving this item object. So now here, if I take all of those, cut that, and put it inside this guy, voila. Now my data, it's really fine. As you can see, everything is fine. I need to add some stuff here. First here, as you can see in here, item.text, I need the text. That's why I need to receive this data here. So it's because I need the ID, I need the text here. And after I created my container, I need to do return my container. Why do I need to return my container? Simply because I will call this function inside my handler. So I need to get a DOM element so I can append it here to the parent. So how can I do it? It's quite simple now. All I have to do, I need to import my function first. So import, create, we name it create item, right? Voila. And now here I'm looking through my data, so I can just say const container, which will be my DOM element. It's equal to create item, and here I'm passing my data item. So when I pass in my data to this function, it will return me what? It will return me a DOM element, right?
Yes.
If I call this function and I pass the data, it will return me the container. The container is DOM element, and I need the container in my handler. Why? Because I need to append it inside DOM to do dot append. And now here, if I go here, same functionality, nothing changed, as you can see. It's exactly the same. It's just now my handler is much cleaner. And here now I can use this object here or this component function in any other place I want to. That's fine. That's okay. The functionality now a little bit working, but I have just maybe a little bit problem here with edit button and delete button. Why? Because when I click on edit button, I want something to happen. Also, when I want to click on this delete button, I want something to happen. So first, if I want something to happen, when I want to click on the button or do something, I should add what? I should add
Event listener.
indeed. So I need to add an event listener. Now I'm creating my button here. That means my event listener must be They must be here or somewhere else.
Here.
Of course here, because I'm creating my button here, so I need to add my event listener here. How can I add an event listener? It's simple. I can just say edit button dot add event listener. And the event, it will be click, of course. Click. And when I click for now, I'm just gonna pass a handler here. Later on, I need to separate them, of course, because the handler need to be separated. Now, what I want to do here, I just want to log, for example, yeah, edit button has been clicked, for example, for now. I need to do the same for delete button. So I'm gonna copy this code because it will be the same. I'm gonna copy this code and I'm gonna paste it here. But of course, I need to change edit button to delete button. Voila. I'm duplicating something, so it must be delete button. Voila, delete button. And here, instead of edit button is clicked, I will say delete button. Voila. So what did I do here? Well, I add two event listener, one event listener for the edit button. The event is click, and when I click this function be executed, it will log edit button click. For the delete button, same idea, I just say delete button click. So let's go and test it and see if it will work or not. Refresh, click on this one, so edit button clicked. Click on this one, delete button clicked, and that's nice because that's what I want to, right? Yes, no?
Yes.
Good. So now, of course, because I have this listener here, and now I need two handler, right? So I need my handler here, which will be edit button handler, and here delete button handler. So I need two different handler. Why? Because I want to do something when I click on this button. I want to do something different when I click on this button. So how can I create them? Well, it's simple. I just need to go to my handler and I create two handlers. So let's click here. And here I can say, for example, edit handler or edit button handler. So edit button btn handler .js. What's the second one we should name it?
Delete button handler.
Delete btn handler .js. Voila. Now, for now, I'm just going to create just two functions and I'm going to export it. And I need to import them inside my component function. Is this one I told you it's special case? Why? Because I'm creating the element dynamically, so I have no other choice. So now these two handler, I need to import them here. So let's create them first. So I can just say const, we call it delete button handler. And delete button handler, of course, here I will just need to pass my function here. Voila. Let me just export it directly. exp delete button handler. Currently, I will receive nothing. For now, we'll receive nothing. I just created an empty function, as you can see. And now I'm exporting it. I'll do the same here. I will create an empty function and I need to name it edit button handler. Same idea. I'm gonna receive nothing for now. I don't want item for now. Voila. And here I need just to export it. Voila. Now, of course, these two handlers, I need to import both of them inside my component function. Yes. So import, what do we call it? Delete button handler. This first edit button handler. And the second one, it will be delete button handler. Import, delete button handler. Voila. So now we come here to this one, which is edit button handler. I'm going to delete this one. And I'm going to just call my function, which is edit button handler. Well, and I'm here, I will call here. Now, when I call this function, I'm going to pass my item. Why my item? Well, if I pass my item, I will just pass in my data here. So my data item, I'm passing my data inside this button. I don't know if I will need them or not. For now, let's just pass nothing. We'll see after that. If we need them, I will pass them. If I don't need them, I will not pass them. Same idea here. Now it's delete button. So I can just say delete button handler, and I will just call it. I think it's quite clear for now, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yes, no?
Yes.
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 Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. Question here. Why did I execute my handler here? Normally we don't execute it. Why did I execute it here? Why
Because probably you will have parameter.
Yes, and because now I am inside an arrow function, my handler actually is this arrow function. So when the user click on the button, then this arrow function will be executed, then my function will be executed. And most probably I will need to pass some parameters. That's the reason why I put it here. But for now, I don't need a lot, so let's just keep this way. Fine, if I need any parameter, I'll just put them here and then I will receive them in my function. So let me go to delete button here and let me log something here just to make sure it's been connected correctly. And I can just say, for example, log delete button clicked, for example. And for the edit, same idea, I will just log something. So to make sure that it's being connected correctly. And now let's go back to our stuff, refresh. If I click on this one, voila, it's been connected. If I click on this one, it's been connected as well. If I click on this one, it's been connected. If I click on this one, it's been connected. So everything is fine. Let's start first with the delete functionality, because the delete functionality, it will be the simplest actually. If I want to delete an item, what should I do?
Remove it.
Yes, I need to remove it from the DOM first, and I need to remove it from?
The data.
Data.
Yes. So actually, when we are doing delete, also when we are doing update, also when we are doing add, when we are doing the CRUD operation, I need to do them in two places, not one place. I need to do them, add or delete them on the DOM and inside my data. You got the point? So all the time you need to understand this one. You are not gonna update or delete only one place, just on the DOM. No, you need to do it in the DOM and also inside your data. That's nice. But now when I try to delete something, I need to know which item I want to delete. So probably here I will need an ID. If I have an ID, I will know which element to delete, right? Let's go here. Let me show you. If I click on here, and as you can see, that those are my item, right? My item has an ID. All of them have different ID. If I know the ID, I can easily select any element I want to by ID, and I can delete it from the DOM. That's first. Second, if I go to my data, also, if I know the ID, I can simply filter this item or try to use find, and I can find any object I want to using the ID. And like that, I can grab both of them. Yes or no? You're with me?
Yes.
So now what do I need to do here? Well, it's quite simple. Actually, I need the ID, but I need just to pass my ID. How can I pass my ID? It's quite simple, actually. Let's just do this one here. And here to pass the ID, I can just say item, that's my data, dot ID. Voila. So I'm getting the ID here. And now, of course, because now I'm calling my handler and I'm passing the ID in admin, inside my handler here, I will receive an ID. And here, let's just log to see that really we are receiving the ID or not. Voila. Now let's go here, refresh. We are working on delete, right? So if I click on this one, it's give me one ID one. If I click on this one, ID 2. If I click on this one, ID 3. If I click on this one, ID 4. And that's what I want to, right? Yes, no? Hello?
Yes, but this is a ID from the data, not from the DOM, or
But here, as you can see, the ID here, I'm adding the ID, the same, I'm getting from the data, I'm adding it to the container. So where I get my ID from the data, and here also I'm passing from the data. I can pass it from the DOM if I want to. I can just say container.id if I want to. Instead of item.id, I can say container.id.
so it doesn't matter this or that.
Because they are the
Because-
same. Container.id, it's equal to item.id, so they are the same.
Okay.
Fine, now I have the ID. Because I have the ID, it should be simple now, right? What should I do when I have the ID? First, let's remove it from the DOM, and then let's try to remove it from the data. Right? So let's just say here, remove item from the DOM. Should be simple. I can select the element if I want to, so I can just say const item, it's equal to document dot get element by ID, and voila. Simple. Now here it will return me two options. Either it will return me the element if the ID exists, or if the item with this ID exists. If it's not exist, it will return me null. So if it give me the item, I can just delete it. I can just say if item, then item dot remove. Simple. Do you understand why I put this condition? Yes or no? Guys, if you don't understand what I'm doing, tell me, because this one is important. I'm trying to select my item with this ID. I am passing the ID to my handler. But now when I try to select any element with ID, I have two possibilities. If the item with the ID exists, I will get my HTML element or my DOM element. If it does not exist, I will get null. And if I say null.remove, I will get an error. That's the reason why I add this condition. I'm checking if items, that means if the item exists, it's not null, because if it's null, null is false value. Only if the item exists, I'm gonna remove it. Voila, item.remove. And now, if I go here and try it, it will work. See, it's been deleted, but it's been deleted only on the DOM, not on the data. If I refresh, I come back again. Click, click. And to show you just, let's go to our element. Let's refresh. So as you can see, that's my to-dos, as you can see. Now, if I click on this one, click, now it's been deleted, as you can see. This one has been flashed, that means there is something changed. Click, click, and that's been deleted here. Of course, if I refresh, voila, my data is coming back because simply I did not modify the data yet. Is it clear?
Yeah,
Yes.
but can we use a condition for the button? Like if button clicked, then remove the item.
But you don't need to do that because if button click, we are doing that, Daria. So that's the condition actually, if the button clicked. So as you can see here, when I say edit button or delete button, add event listener, it's like a condition. That means if the button is clicked, then I want you to execute this function. It's a condition actually. Only if the button is clicked, then this one it will happen. If the button is not clicked, it will not happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so as you can see, in my delete handler, I've managed to delete it from the DOM, but I did not delete it from the data. So what should I do now? I should try to remove it from data. So now here I can just say remove from the data, of course, from data. How can I remove it from the data? Well, to remove it from the data, I can, maybe I can try to filter my data. So what I can see here, const data is equal to, let's try to do this one. I don't have the data. I need to import my data here, of course. So I can just say const. No, sorry. Import data. Data from, voila. Dot slash, no, it's not like that. It's just data.js. I'm inside the handler, so it's data.js. Voila. Now here, what I need to do here, I need to find a way to remove this data from to remove this item actually from my data. So what could be the solution? Yeah. Any ideas? Can I say, for example, like that? I can say data dot items is equal to data dot items dot filter. And now here I'm going to filter my item where the ID is not equal to my ID, which means if the ID of the item is the same my ID, it will not return it because filter return a new array. So kind of here, I'm changing my data. I'm taking the old data, okay? I'm changing the value of them. So that's my old data. I'm filtering them. And here, if the item.id is not equal to my ID, my item, you can keep it. But if it's equal to my ID, don't keep it, remove it. And as you know, filter return a new array. So here I will have a new array, and here I'm changing the value of my item. So data.item, it's equal to the new array. And like that, I'm removing it from my data as well. Is the idea clear here or not? Let's try to test it. Now here I can log data.item. So let's go here. Let's go here. Let's refresh. Now here, if I click on this one, notice now I have 3 items here. I have ID 2 by milk, by vegetable, by cookies. I don't have the first one, which was, I don't know what it was. I don't have it anymore. I deleted it. It's gone. Now here I have by milk. If I click on it, notice I will not have milk anymore. I have 2 now. I have vegetables, I have cookies, but I don't have milk anyway. So what I'm doing here, I'm removing it from the DOM. I'm also removing it from my data. Is the idea clear? Yep, no.
Can you explain again this filter logic?
Sure. The problem is data here. Diniando. The problem with the data or from the DOM here?
Data.
What
Data.
are the gray text there?
So what I'm doing here, now, for now, ignore this one, ignore data.item. If I take my data.item, I have an array, right? So I'm using filter here. What do I want to filter? Well, I want, now when I filter, of course, an array of item, I will have an item because filter is higher order method. So I take a function as a parameter, and in my case here, it will be item. Maybe I should surround item by single quote just to be clear a little bit. Voila. So as you can see, I will have an item here. Now here, what I'm checking, I'm saying if the item.id is not equal to my ID. So my condition here, of course, it will loop through all the item I have in my item, all the object. And here it will check if the item.id is not equal to the ID of element I am passing here, it will return it, it will keep it. But if it's equal to the ID, it will not keep it, it will remove it. And here filter, of course, it will return me a new array, as you know. And this new array here, I need to save it. So I need to change my item because now I delete one. So here I will say data.item, then I will give it a new value, which will be the new filtered data. Bit clear or not?
Yeah. Thank you.
For everyone?
Yes.
Good. So that's the delete functionalities. It was simple. I don't need that anymore. Clicky. That was simple, the simple thing.
Samir,
Fine. Yes.
on the line 4, no, line 5. So we have const item, and it's equal to our item inside the DOM. And can we use it like item dot inner HTML equal to empty string instead of item remove, just to make it like an empty string?
Yes, you can do that, but it's not a good practice. Why? Because now here, let's go inspect it. Now here, how many items do I have? I have 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I use empty inner, let's say inner HTML, and say it's equal to an empty string, what's going to do here, it will just remove everything inside my item here. So here, it will remove everything like that here. Voila. But I will still have my item here, as you can see. So I don't see it, but if I hover over it, notice it's there. It's bad practice to do so. Because what's happening here, I'm just still keeping the item inside my DOM, and that's not how it should be.
Okay, but you just, yeah, I got it. Yes,
It's
thank
not
you.
like before our project when we use hide class, and after that when I taught you how to remove and append.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
You should never ever try to empty the inner HTML, and we can do it in certain cases, but in general, it's bad practice to do so. Okay. Fine. Delete functionality is working now. I need edit, and also I need to add. I need to be able to add a new item, right? Am I mistaken or not?
No, you're right.
So delete already functional. Edit is not functional yet. Now I need to be able also to add a new item. So here I say add item handler. Add item handler.js. So just a new file like that. Cool. Let's go back to edit for now. Actually, I need to do add first, then edit. It will be easier. So let's check const. What do we name it? Add item handler. In here, I will delete all of this stuff. I will delete this one as well. I don't need that. So I just have an empty function. And what I need to do here, I need to export it here because I will need it. Okay, so I have a handler to add a new item. So why? Because I need to be able to type here something and then hit enter or submit, and it must be able to add it here in this place at the top. But currently it's not functional. So I need to make this one functional. Then I'm going back to make the edit button also functional. And after that, I need to make this one clear item also functional. This one is super simple, but a little bit difficult here is add and edit, and the rest project will be done. So, okay, now the question here is at which event here, when do I want to be able to add a new item? When? So what is the event here?
Click.
It's click on this button submit here. By the way, because the type is submit, if I hit enter, it will submit it as well. So the event here, actually, if I go back to my button here and I click on events, so input this one form. So here it does not show that it's been added here, submit, but actually there is an event here, and this event is called submit. So let's select our button and let's add this event to it. Of course, to add the event here, I need to create a new event in the handler. And I'm sorry, it's the event here, and it will be add item event, right? Add item event .js. So let's create our function const add event and add item event, sorry. Add item event. Add item event, what it's doing here is currently it will do nothing. Let me delete this one and let me get rid of this one. And of course, I need to export my event. Why do I need to export my event? Why do I need to export my event?
Because it's event, so we need to put it in init.js.
Yes. So I need to import add event, add item event. That was no, not handler, add item events. I need to under this way. And after that, I just need to execute it. Voila. And voila. Now here, I need to go now to my event here, which is add item event. Now I need to select my button because I need to add the event to the button, but I don't have the button. What should I do? I don't have the button. What should I do?
Import DOM.
Yeah, I need to import the DOM. So import DOM from /DOM. That's okay because I am inside the event here. Now I need to select my button. So I will say DOM dot, what was the name of button was? I named it submit button. Submit button dot add event listener, and the event, of course, it will be click. Click like that. And when I click, I need to execute a handler, but I don't have the handler now. Maybe I will just put a function here. And here, that's maybe my listener, of course. Why it's like that? So that's my click, and here I have a function. Yeah, it's okay, but I need to format it. It's just formatted. It looks like my VS Code is not formatting. npm run format. Okay, npm I. Let's just wait a second.
Samir, the stuff in gray that you have now, so it's because of the Copilot? You changed something in the settings, or because
What?
before you didn't have it, the gray things that helps you know what kind of stuff it is?
That's
It's
TypeScript.
called.
That's extension for TypeScript.
Ah, okay.
but you can install it as well. I'll tell you when I'm done, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Now that's fine. It's format my code. As you can see, dom.button submit button dot add event listener. The event is click and that's my function. And now here I need to call my handler. So what is my handler? What do we name it? Add item handler. That's my handler. I need just to call my handler here. So my handler here is receiving nothing. I want to receive the event. You remember the event? I want to receive the event. So I will go here and now here I will call my handler. What is my handler? Which one is? Import. What's the name of my handler? Add item handler, right? Voila. And here I will just call it inside this function. I'll call it and I will pass the event. And of course, the event here, it must be passed here. Save. Voila. So what I'm passing to my handler, and here I told you by default, your handler will receive one parameter by default if you want it or you don't want it. Now my handler here is this arrow function. And this arrow function by default, it receives the event as I told you. And the event here, you can name it, you can type event if you want to, but I just normally we call it E for event. So I'm receiving my event in this arrow function. Then I'm calling my handler add item handler and I'm passing the event to my add item handler. That's me now. In add item handler, I will have the event. And if I log it, we should see the event. So let's log it. Log the event E. Of course, the event here, it will be, let me show you, refresh. Now here, if I click on submit, see what's happening. I see the event and then disappearing, right? If I click on enter, the same idea. What's going on? Can anyone tell me?
You need to append it.
It's refreshing page.
Refreshing page, that's why I import the event. But what should I do? How can I prevent that?
E.prevent default.
No, someone else. I know you know.
Yeah, this one that you explained yesterday.
Prevent
The day
default.
before. Yeah, prevent default.
Event dot.
Dot prevent default.
Yeah, good. So event dot prevent default. Prevent default, of course, it was I told you, when the type of button is submit, it will try automatically to submit my data into the backend. That's not what I want to. And now here, if I do anything and I hit enter, am I logging the event yet? No, I'm not logging it. Yeah, you can now do whatever you want to here. I don't want, so I just imported the event because I want to implement this one, which is event.prevent default, because it's refreshing my page. And that's the reason why I import my event here. And now here, if I click on this one, click enter, or I click on submit, it's not refreshing the page, and that's what I want to. So that's the first step. So the first step, I need to prevent the prevent default, which is the default behavior here, because the type is submit, it try to submit my data or my form to the backend. I stop this one. So what could be the second approach? What should I do after that? Can anyone tell me? What should I do? What should I do here? Should I grab whatever the user type or not?
Yes.
So I will need this guy here.
So
Why?
the value, yeah, input value.
Of course, because if I'm trying to add something, I need to get the value. If I don't have the value, how can I add it? So the first step here, I'm trying to create a new event or a new item. Remember the item data, it was an object, right? So it was object with ID and text, right? Yes, no? I'm gonna use this function here to create an item, and this function here, I need to pass an object. Why? Because I'm expecting here to pass the ID and the text. So I need to pass now, for each item, new item I want to create, I need to create an object with ID and text. That's simply how it is. So let's go to add event here. And now here I need to grab the value. But how can I grab the value? Can anyone tell me how can I grab the value? Const value. How can I get the value?
Input dot value.
Yeah,
DOM dot input dot value. Yeah, DOM.
maybe I can import something here. Import
DOM.
DOM. And of course, if I import the DOM, here, what is the name of my input? It was DOM dot input dot value. Should I trim it or not? Do you know what trim is?
No.
Remove the spaces in front and behind.
Yes, I've explained trim before for you. Trim removes the space from the right side and from the left side. So if the user keep a lot of spaces, it will just remove the spaces from from the user, whatever the user enters. So trim is the method. If I hover over trim here, doesn't give me any definition. Why? Sadi. Yeah, anyway. Let's not do the trim for now. Okay. Let's just now log the value. Only let's log the value for now. Log the value. Okay, and now let's go to our website here. Refresh. Now notice what I'm doing. I will add some text, enter, and voila. See, show me my text here. And now, sometime maybe the user enters something and then make some space like that. And if I hit submit, I don't see the space here, but the space, it will be taken. So I will have extra space here. And to get rid of this space here, I can simply use trim. Dot trim. Trim is a method. And as you can see, string.trim removes the leading and trailing white space and line terminator. So it removes the space from the right and the left side of my string. Is it quite clear, Agnieszka?
Okay, on in the middle, no. If somebody write I dot space love space
The
you.
middle is not logic to remove the space in the middle. It's only
Okay.
remove it from before, from the beginning and the end. You can remove the space from the beginning only if you want to trim left. We have trim, we have trim left, we have trim right. But most of the time we use trim to remove the white space from the beginning and the end of the string. Cool?
Yeah.
Fine, now I have my text. So I need to find a way to create a new element. And now let's go to my data actually. So as you can see, I already have 4 items. That may be a little bit create a little bit problem for me, but now I have the ID here. As you can see, 5, I can use it. So what I can do here, where is it? This guy. Let's create a new object. Let's create a new object. I can just say const new item. It will be equal to an object. And now I need the ID, right? ID here. How can I get the ID? I can just say data dot ID, if you remember, plus plus, comma. And here I need also the text. So I say text dot value. Voila, that should be fine for now. Save, voila. Data is not defined. How can, yeah, because I did not import data. So I need to import my data. Import data. That should be fine. Do you know what I did here or not? Yes, no?
Not really.
Why is not really? I'm trying to use this function to create a new item. If I want to create a new item, I need to pass item object to this function. So this item object, it's just an object with 2 properties. The first property, as you can see, it's ID, and the second one is text. So the text here, I'm giving it from the value, text value. The ID, I don't have the ID, but I can say data.id plus plus. That means the first time it will create a new item, it will be data.item. And data.item, how much it is? Data.item, how much it is? How much?
5 or 6, the next one.
5, now it's 5. But now the second time, it will, so what was going to do here, it will make data.id 5, so it will give this one 5, and then it will increase the value from 5 to 6. That's what it means, plus plus. So when I do these ones, that means, okay, the first item, it will be data.id, which is 5. Then it will increment 5 and make it 6, because it doesn't make sense to keep the ID as it is. Every time I use the ID, I need to increment it.
And you can use it outside of loop?
So every time this object is being created, it will data.id, and then it will increment this value here. Every time I use it, it will increment. And of course, the value stored here, so I'm not going to lose it. Each time I increment it, this value will be changed. It will be 6. Then in other time I create, it will be 7 and 8 and so on and so on.
But why we cannot do like without the ID 5 here and only with the objects. Like, for example, if you write the new item is ID data dot items dot ID plus plus. Why do we need this ID 5?
Well, we can use another way if you want to. Let me-
Yes.
But that's the easiest way. Let's do it the second way. The second way here, I need to calculate how many items inside my array, right?
Mhm.
Because if I know how many items, I can create the length, and from the length, here now if I say the length, here the length it is 4, right? Because it's 4, that means I can just make the new ID length plus plus and like that, or just length actually plus 1. So I can just say here data dot, what is the name of my array? Items, right?
Items, yeah.
Dot length plus 1, and voila. Every time I add a new item to the array, it will give me the length. For now, here is 4. 4 plus 1, it will be 5. When I add a new item, I will have 5. So the length, it will be 5 plus 1, it will be 6, and so on and so on and so on. So this
Uh,
It's
And
easier.
Yes, it's easier. But why we cannot do this data dot item dot ID plus plus?
because we don't have ID. We
We
don't.
don't have.
Okay, now here, when I say data dot items, okay, data dot items, items here is my array. And the dot ID, I cannot have this one. It's not possible because it's array. I need to access as a specific item. So either I need this one or this one or this one or this one.
Okay.
I cannot just say item dot ID. It doesn't exist because I need to specify ID of which object. Is it the first object or the second one or third one? That's the reason why I added the ID here before. Like
Uh-huh.
so here, if I have this one, then I can say data dot here data dot ID. Okay.
But like
Nothing,
for me, this one is super confusing if you add like that.
it's up to you. Both are simple, both have the same way. But it's okay. If it's confusing, then let's stick with this one.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, what time is it? It's almost okay, let me finish this one, and after that we can do that. Now, actually, before I create this new object, I need to think a bit. What if the user was a little bit evil, and what this evil user did? He did not type anything here, and he just click on submit. What should I do here? Should I allow him to create a new item?
No.
No.
Scan here. Now, let me just show you what I mean. So if I log it here, let's just log it this way. Let's log, no, I don't want to push now, just log item. Log new item. So let's say the user now just came here and I click submit, 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 as you can see. So I have a problem here actually. So the problem is every time the user click on here, new object is being created and I'm sending this data, I'm saving this data. Should I allow him to do so? No.
No.
Because the text here, it's mandatory. I have to tell the user that there shouldn't be an empty string. Now it gives me the same ID here because I'm not pushing to the array. But when I push to the array, actually, let me show you as well. It will change. Let me here push to the array so I can say data.item, push new item. Now it will change. Let's try it again. So now here click. As you can see, the ID 5. Now it's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you may tell me it's okay, it's not a problem. No, it's a problem because now what will happen, all these objects be added here. They will take space, and also all these data, they are useless. I need to save all this data. So that's really bad practice. So how can I prevent that? Any idea? How can I prevent that?
The if statement, if the value is
So before
empty.
Before I even create an item, I can just say if there is no value. Okay. Do you know what if no value means or not?
Yes.
Yes.
So value, if it's empty string, an empty string, when you convert it to falsy or truthsy, it will be falsy. And for not false, it will be true. So when the value here, it's empty string, then this condition, it will be executed. Now what I need to do, I need to grab my error message and tell the user this stuff. So I can just say DOM dot, where's the error message? I did not add, yeah, but I should have error actually. Yeah, DOM.error.inner text. Inner text. Yeah, inner text should be fine, inner text. And here, please enter a value. And here I can return, by the way. I need to return. Can anyone tell me why do I need to return? Why do I need to return? Why I'm returning here?
Because you will reuse this handler.
Please enter. Yeah, now if I refresh, notice here, when I return, what's happening? Come on. So what's happening here is this, it's still being added, it's still logging this one here. So I need to find a way actually. So if there is no value, what I need to do, I need to stop the function from the executing at all. I don't need it at all. Okay. So actually there is a few stuff here. I can just say, for example, else like that. And I can take my code like that, cut it from here, put it here, save. And here I don't need return anymore. Now I don't need any return. Why? Because if there is no value, it will just show this message only. It will not do anything else. But if there is a value, then I'm going to create this data. Then I'm going to create an object. Now I'm going to append it to the DOM. And yeah, I will add it to my data. Well, now if I go here, notice what will happen. If I try to submit, see, no data has been added anymore. No data has been added. It just show me this message, please enter a value. And voila, that's it. Because if I put this one outside of the if block, it will try to show this one and then come also, it will create a new item and do that. And I shouldn't allow the user to create a new item in this case, right? That's the reason why I put it here. Is it okay?
Samir, but this please enter a value will stay for forever until you will not enter something inside the input. So we need to add set timeout for this please enter a value.
No, we will later here now. I need to remove this message somehow. So what I can do here, if there is no value, notice, if there is no value, I will show the message. But if there is a value, what I can do, I can just say DOM dot error inner text is equal to empty. So I can empty the error here. Okay, so let me show you. Now here, if the user try to do that, notice what will happen when the user types something and click submit. Click, see the message is removed here and it shows me that's been working. That's one way, or maybe I can find another solution. So this is a good solution, by the way. Or maybe I can add, if I want to, when the user types something, I want immediately to remove this error message. Well, in the input, I can add a key up event. And whenever the user tries or key down, whenever the user types something, I need to check if the value is not empty string, then I can remove the message. There is many ways to solve this problem, Daria. But that's the easiest way.
But easy, we can use a set them out like for 2 or 3 seconds and it will disappear.
But that's also a good solution, by the way. It's also a good solution. I can use set timeout actually. Yes, just show the message error message for a few 1 second or 2 seconds, and then after that remove it. It is possible as well. Okay, guys, let's take a break now. It's 11. Let's take 15-minute break, and we'll come back to finish our project. The project is super important, as I told you. So yeah, I'm gonna stop the recording for. Enjoy your break. Okay, now let's go back a little bit to our approach here. So what I'm doing here, I'm checking if there is no value. I am just showing an error message. And now I will take Daria's suggestion. I will just show this message for, let's say, 2 or 2 seconds. And after that, I will delete it. Using set timeout, you don't know what set timeout is, but it's simple. I'll just explain it. After that, we are doing this one. Now, using this one for ID, which is data.item.length.+1, for now, it's okay, but that's not ideal. Why? Because let's say you have 10 items, and after that, you delete from number 1 until 8, you have ID 9. And now, when you click with the link, it will give you a length of 1. Plus 1, it will be 2. And so on and so on. And after that, you will get an ID of 9, but we have already item with ID 9. So this is not a perfect solution. A perfect solution, actually, it will be to use a library. So we have a library in JavaScript, which is called UUID. UUID, it's a very simple library. All you have to do, just need to import it, and when you execute it, it will give you a long string number, a stringy number ID like that. Each time it will be unique. For now, I will not concentrate a lot about the ID, but we have library to create or generate ID. Don't worry about that for now. Let's go back to our project. Yeah,
We can't hear you like before.
I think it's from my headset. Can you hear me now, Ahlam?
Yeah, better.
Perfect. So what I was saying is generating an ID with this method here, data.item.length plus 1. Sometimes it creates some issue. So it's not perfect really. But normally in JavaScript, when it will be a real project, we have a library. This library, we call it UUID. And what it's doing here, you just need to import it. And every time it's a function, every time you call it, it will give you a unique ID. But for now, I'm not going to concentrate on it. It's not that, I mean, it's simple, okay? Yeah or no? Are you with me or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Now what I did here, if there is no value, I'm showing the error. Now I want to remove the error in, let's say, after 2 seconds, let's say. How can I do that? Well, we have something called set timeout. Set timeout, of course, you don't know what it is, but I will explain later. Set timeout, simply, it's an API. It's take 2 parameters. The first parameter, it will be a function. As you can see here, I'm passing an arrow function. And the second parameter, it will be how much time I want to, how much time I need to wait until this function is being executed. So simply, as you can see in set timeout, I'm passing a function, then I'm passing delay, the delay in millisecond. 2000 mean it will be just 2 seconds. So what do I want to do after 2 seconds? So this code, it will not be executed immediately. It will be executed after 2 seconds. Well, I want to access the DOM, the error, and I want to empty the HTML inner text. Actually, yeah, inner text is fine. Like that. And now if I go here, refresh, and try to submit, notice now this one will disappear after 2 seconds. And voila, it disappeared. Simply like that. We will study in detail set timeout in asynchronous programming, because in reality it's asynchronous programming. But anyway, so set timeout, what it's doing here is take 2 parameters. It's an API. You don't know what an API, we will learn it next module. But just note, take 2 parameters. The first parameter is a function. Normally it will be an arrow function. As the second one here, how much as amount of time in millisecond need to be waited. So this code, it will not be executed immediately. It will wait for 2 seconds. 2 seconds until 2 seconds finish, then it will execute everything inside this function. Is the idea clear?
Yes. So we don't need the line of code on the line 14.
14 now, we don't need this one anymore because we are emptying it.
Okay.
We don't need that. Voila. Okay, we are showing the error in case there is no value. We are just removing the message after 2 seconds. It's up to you. Remember this one in millisecond. Okay, it's not in second, in milliseconds. So if you want 2 seconds, you need to write 2000. Okay, that's my new item. Now, after I have my new item, I'm adding it to my data, which is nice, but now I need to add it to the DOM as well. So how can I solve this problem? How can I add it to the DOM?
Append it.
How? But I cannot, first I need to create it, right? Because first I need to create the item. Because the item here is just data. I need to create the DOM element, then append it, right?
Yes.
So I need to say const item DOM. It's equal to, I need this function create item, and then I need to pass my data. That's the reason why I created data as an object. So I need to import my function, which is called import create item, which is a util component function. Now here I will use this function here to create a new item. Yeah, but that's not correct. Okay. Voila, create item. And create item, what do I need to pass? I need to pass an object with ID and text. And that's the reason why I'm passing ID and text, and voila. Of course, now if I call this function create item, what it will return? What this function return? What this function will return?
HTML.
A DOM
Connection.
element. Because it return a DOM element, I can simply append it now. So I can just say DOM dot. Where do I want to append it? Where do I need to append it?
Yeah,
Inside
to those.
So I will go to to-dos, and I will not use append. I will use something called prepend. Can anyone tell me what is prepend doing?
It
Pen
will
at the
append,
bottom.
yes, at the
It will make
first one,
the first child.
position.
Mhm. It will make it the first child, and that's what I want. Let's go here, refresh, and let's say testing. Enter, voila, see, it's making the first child and being created. Again, testing. Of course, I click on enter. Now let's click on submit, and voila, it's working as well. And now everything now is a functionality of adding a new item is being working. Let's try to see, and I have a problem here. Notice the problem. Can anyone notice the problem? So let me add this item here, either by enter or submit. And there is a problem here, right?
Yes.
What's the problem?
The input don't clear.
Exactly. So I need to clear the item here as well. So how can I clear the item? How can I clear the item?
Item equal to empty string.
So I just need to say DOM.input. I need to just use the input here. DOM.input, because I have an input. Dot value, it's equal to empty string, and voila. Simply like that. So now let's try it. Because I need to empty this text. Now here, let's add this one, click, and it's been emptied, right? And that's what I want to. See? Enter, voila. Submit, and it's been empty all the time. So I need to empty the value of the input after the item is being submitted. Why? Because it's just not user-friendly. So after I created my DOM element, after I prepend it or appended, whatever you want, after I add it to my data, now I will go to the input and I make the value it's equal to empty string. That means I want to remove the value exist and I make it an empty string. Is the idea clear? Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay, for everyone it's clear?
Samir, can you explain one more time why we create item DOM?
Why do we need item DOM?
Yes.
Yeah, but now if I want to create a new item, Egypt, now my new item here, what it will be? It will be just data here. I will have an ID and text and I put them inside an object. So it's just data.
Yes.
But I need to show it in the website. How can I show it in the website? I need to create a DOM element. You got my point?
Yes.
Because if it's not DOM element, I cannot append it on the website here. Here I have only data. It's the same idea as in load handler. Load handler, I have data. But I mean, yes, I have data, but I need to create now something from this data. So I'm creating a DOM element so I can add it to the website. And that's the reason why I create item. I'm doing it. When I try to create a new item, it's the same idea. A new item here, I just have the data. I need to create a DOM element because if it's not DOM element, I cannot append it to the document or to the page. Clear?
Yes. And how come do we use the create item?
Create item here, you mean?
Yes.
Create item, as you can see, it's a component function. So this component function here, just create item. I need to pass an object, and this object here, we call it item. As you can see, it need two property. I need an ID, and I need text. And if I pass it here, it will just create an item for me with button blah 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 blah, and it will return me a DOM element. Yes? No.
Yes.
That's the reason why we do separation of concern, because now when I load handler, I can create the item using this function. Now, when I try to add a new item also, I don't need to create a new function, no, because I already have the function to create item. I need to reuse it. And that's the reason here I'm going to create item. And a new item here is an object. Because this function expecting an object. That's the reason why I did this one.
Okay, yes, I see.
Clear?
Clear.
So add, now it's working. Delete is working. Edit is not working. So we need now to work on the edit stuff here. Okay, that's here. So this guy is working. Good. Edit, it's working. Both in enter and submit. But the problem is this guy here is not working. So when I click on it now, it's just logging something. So I need to now to work on this functionality. If I finish this one, the last one is quite simple. This one is super simple. Okay. So let's go to our edit. I think we have edit handler, right? Do we have edit handler or not?
Yes, we have.
Okay, but delete edit. But I don't have event. I did not add an event here, I think. Yeah, I did it actually. It's inside this one. Here. So that's it here. So edit button, as you can see, what I'm doing in edit button, well, I'm adding event listener, which is click, and now here I need to pass something here. Also, just like delete here, I pass the ID here, I can pass the item itself. So I can pass this data here, the ID and the text. So here I can just pass the item like that. Voila. Now the ID, I will pass the whole object. Now, because my handler, edit button handler, when I execute it, I pass the item, which is my data here, I can receive it. So if I go back now to edit button handler, I can receive this item here. Here, see, I'm not receiving anything. I can receive it, item like that. And now here, instead of logging this message, I can log my item. Voila. Let's save it. And let's try to check our code. So let's refresh. Now here, when I click on this button, it should show me an object with the text, this text, and the ID. I don't know what's the ID. So let's click. As you can see, by bread, the ID is 1. If I click on this one, notice, by milk, ID is 2. If I click on this one, by vegetables, and ID is 3. If I click on this one, by cookie, and the ID is 4. So now here, whenever the user click on this button, of course, I'm adding event listener to this button. And then in the handler, I am passing some data. And the data here, it will be the object responsible in creating this item. I need this data inside my handler. And I will see why do we need it here. Okay, now I have the item. What do I need to do when the user click on edit? What should I do? What should I do when the user click on edit?
It should take the value or inner text maybe, because it's not in the input, but it's in the...
But I'm receiving the item, as you can see here. I'm receiving the text and I'm receiving the ID. Let's go back to our website and see what's doing here. Let's go here, refresh. Notice what happened when I click on this one. When I click on this one, this button inner text changes, right? Let me show you again. When I click on this one, notice, click, this button here changes, become edit, and the text here show in the value here. You got the idea or not?
Yes.
So now we need to try to do the same idea. But how? Okay, let's see. Let's first go to our event. On my event here, it's inside this one here. Where's my event? Where is my event? That's edit event. So whenever the user click on the edit event, I want to change the text inside the button here. So the button submit, we need to change the text and make it edit. Can we do that or not?
Yes, we can.
How?
Button dot, it's inner text in the button or?
Yes, it's inner text in the button. So let me go to the button. Where's the button? Button, of course, it's been created statically. So let me go to here. And that's my button here. It's just an inner text, as you can see. So what I want to do, I want when the user click on edit button here. Well, now I need to grab my my button, but how can I grab my button? I don't have my DOM here, right? What should I do?
Import it.
Of course, I will import it. So DOM, I can say DOM dot. What is the button here? It's submit button, right? Submit button dot inner text. It's equal to it. Voila. And like that, I will change the text. That's nice. Now this one is okay, but normally I prefer to put the DOM at the top, but it's just a matter of preference. So whenever the user click on the edit button, first I'm going to submit button, I'm changing the text to edit, then I'm calling my handler, edit button handler.
But we shouldn't do it inside the handler?
We can do it inside the handler if we want to. Let's go to
Okay.
it inside the handler. It will not make any difference, huh? So let's go here and let's remove it here. And now let's go to where is my handler? It's this one, edit button, right? Okay, let's go here. Now I need to import my DOM, right?
Mhm.
So here what I can do first, I can just say DOM, click, dot. What's the name of the button? It's submit button, dot inner text is equal to edit. And let's go and test it. Of course, I need .js here, otherwise it will not work. Let's try to test it here. That's my refresh. Now, if I click on this one, here, this text should change. Click, and it's changing. That's nice. But it's changing, but it is not showing this text here in the input. So I need to show this text in the input. How can I do that? It's simple.
Data.
I can just say DOM dot input dot value. It will be equal now. Remember, I have the text here. I have this object, which is item. And in the item, I have the text, right? Item dot text. And let's test it see if it will work or not. Of course, this one will not work because it's not a comma, it's dot. And here I need to remove this one. So let's see. Voila, let's go back. Let's refresh and see if it's working or not. Let's click on this one. And voila, buy bread, edit. Voila, buy milk, edit. Voila, buy vegetables, edit. Voila, buy cookie, edit.
Samir,
Yes.
why when you click on edit, the buy it's capital letter, but the bread it's changed in the lowercase?
Are you sure?
Yeah, just click.
No, see, buy.
Yeah, but milk, you see? The M.
Maybe it's in CSS.
It's,
Something.
indeed, it's CSS thing. But if you want, I can make it capital. It doesn't matter. But I probably, as Agnieszka said, it's CSS property. Let me click inspect. Because here, I think the text here is being capitalized. Let's click on this one. Buy milk here. And actually, it's should be, yeah, it should be p tag. So p tag here. We should have to capitalize something called capitalize. No.
Yeah, it's capitalized.
Where is it? Did you see it?
Yeah.
And there is text transform capitalized. The last one.
Oh, yeah. Text transform, capitalize, as you can see. So it's a matter of CSS. That's it. It doesn't matter. It's what's important for me. Now, even now here, if I enter something new, it will capitalize it. Don't worry about that, Rodica, because it's a CSS thing. Whenever I enter it, it will capitalize it automatically.
Okay.
So now the problem, half of the problem is fixed. When I click on this one, I see my text here and I see the edit. Now the problem, half of the problem is solved. Now what I need to do here, when the user click on enter or click on this button, I need not to add a new element, but I need to update the element, update the DOM, and also update the data. How can I do that? You understand my point? So when the user click on the edit button or click on this one here, enter, I should update the DOM. So this DOM here, I should update the text. And also I should go to my data and update the data. I don't need to create a new DOM element because I already have it. I just need to update it. How can I do that?
You need to create new event.
I need to?
New event.
No, but remember here we have an event actually. We already have this button here already has an event on it. Yes, I changed the text, and this guy also, when I hit enter, it has an event on it. And let me show you. If I inspect this button, and I go to event, I already have an event click. And the event click, it's where it is? It is in add event here. So it's in this function, add item handler. So I already have the event. But what I can do, I can modify my add event handler. How? I can check if the button here is submit, then I will do as I was doing before. But if the button is edit, I can then update my item. Do you understand my logic or not? Did you understand my logic or not?
But it will be inside the handler, um,
Add item handler.
yeah,
Yeah, but what's the problem? It's okay.
okay.
Yeah, let's try to go and see what will happen. So this guy here for now, that's fine. I don't want anything else from this guy here. It's okay. So my edit button handler is something simple. It's just doing two stuff: changing the button text, then changing the input. That's fine. Now I need to go back again to add item handler. Before I grab the value, or when I grab the value, it doesn't really matter. Here I need to decide something. I need to check if the button is edit, the text is edit or submit. If it's submit, then I will do exactly like I'm doing here. But if it's not submit, that means it is edit, right? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes.
So what I can do here, I can just, I already have the DOM, right? So what I can do here, I can just say const button type, let's say btn, let's say just btn type. So we know what's the type, btn type. It's equal to, yeah. So here DOM dot submit button dot inner text. So I will try to grab the inner text. And now here, if the inner text is submit, so I can just say here, if type of button here, dash, dash, dash is submit with capital C like that. If it's submit, then I will just keep my function as it is. So I'm gonna just grab this guy and put it inside. Cut. Come on. That's super, very good. Voila. So I did nothing, just something simple here, as you can see. I'm checking if the button type here is submit. Then what I need to do here, as you can see, I'm gonna check the value, I'm gonna check the item, I'm gonna create a new item, I'm gonna prepend it like that. But if the type is not submit, what it will be? What other option do I have? If the type is not submit, what other option do I have?
Edit.
Yes. So if it's not submit, it will be edit, right? Yes, no?
Yes.
So here, let's just log. What do we have here? What we are receiving is this one. We are receiving actually nothing, which is sad. Log. Let's just log here, edit item, let's say, just to show you. I'm just logging here. So let's go here. Let's remove this one. Let's refresh. Let's go to the console. Now, when we try to add a submit, click, it's working, no problem at all, as you can see. But now when I try to edit, notice edit. And now here I try to edit something and I click, notice edit item here. This one is happening. So my function here, this part here is not being executed. Why? Because my condition checking if the button type, let's try it again, enter. So what's the button type here? Well, the button type is not submit, it's edit, as you can see. Because it's edit here, this condition is false, so it will not execute this part, it will go to this part. And that's the reason why it's logging edit item. Voila. You got the point now? Yes, no?
Yes.
Good. So now we find a way. Now here my edit item. Now I still need the value, by the way. This value, I still need it. Maybe actually I should. No, that's fine. That's fine. It's okay. So now what I need to do now, I am in submit. When the user try to do submit, the submit is here. But when the user try to edit, now I just need to find out which item has been edited. How could I know which item? Because now if I'm trying to edit something, let's say I'm trying to edit this one here. Now inside my function, which is here, edit bottom handler, I know which item is being edited. But the problem here, if I go to add item handler, I don't know which item is being edited. I have no idea. So how can I solve this problem? Someone smart, tell me how can I solve this problem? So as you can see, my function here received nothing. The event here, but I'm not using the event here at all. So I need to find a way to know which item being edited.
The ID.
But I don't have any ID here. As you can see, I'm not receiving any ID, so I don't know.
Maybe for each?
No.
No.
Item.
Maybe I can do something here in edit button handler. Can I do something different a little bit maybe? Can I? Do I have the ID here or not?
Yes, the ID is there, but not.
Well, I have the IDs and I can grab the DOM item, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you can add the variable on the line 5. So save it in the variable.
Just now I have the item. That means I have the ID and text. So what I can do, I can grab the item, the to do, or the item the user now edited, and after that, when I grab it, I can add a specific class. For example, I say selected, and like that, I know that this item is being selected. Do you understand my logic? Let me show you. Let's say document dot get element by ID. And the ID is coming from item.id. And then here, I'm not going to remove it. I can just say dot class list, because it will be DOM element, right? Dot class list, dot add. And here, I will not name it edit. I will name it selected. Voila. So now let's go here and let's see our item. Click. Let me expand it a little bit more. Where's my item? That's my item. Notice I have 4 items, right? If I click on this one, notice what will happen. Click. So what happened? It's been, there is a special class is being added to this item, which is called selected, right? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes.
And that's what I want to actually. And like that, now this special class is being added. I can know that this item is currently being edited. Of course, at some point, I need to remove this class. Why? Because let's say I finish this one, I finish editing this one, I click enter, I finish everything. And if I did not remove the class and I go click on another item, now I have 2 classes selected, and that's bad idea. So now I need to add the class until I selected, make all my changes, and then I need to remove this class. You got my point or not? Because if I don't remove it, all the item I've selected, and it will be a problem. Yes? No?
Yes.
Let's try to do that. So here I'm adding class called selected, which is good now. Now what I can do here, now I can go to add item blah. And here I can know which item is being selected. How? It's super simple actually. I can just say const selected item, it's equal to document.query selector.select, as you can see. And of course, now I'm grabbing this element here. Now here, what I can do, I can just log my item. So let's just log it for now. Voila. Now here, if I go here, if I select this item, let's see, and I add something, and I click enter, so this is my item, voila, and ID is 3, and now I have all the information I need. So what I will need to do now, I need to get my item. I can know even the ID. I know what's the ID here, and now I need to go to my data and update the item with ID 3 with the new text, and also I need to update the title here. So this guy here, I need to update it. Cool, and I will be done. Yes, no?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. After that, I will remove the class selected and it should be done. So let me do it. Now I have my item. Okay. And I can say just say const ID, const ID, it's equal to my element here, selected item.id, because it has an ID on it. Of course, as you can see, the ID is string. When I grab select.id, it will be string, but I don't want it as a string. I want it as a number, right? Because the ID in my data, it's a number. What should I do? I need to
Number.
convert it to number. What should I do?
Number. Right number.
Just number like that. And now here it will be a number. Voila. Fine. I have the ID. Now what should I do? I'm selecting it actually. Now what I can do, I'm grabbing the ID. That's good. After I do this one, let's actually change. Let's change the inner text of the text. So this is my item. I can say selected item dot query selector. What I am selecting? I'm selecting the title, right? And here I can see in inner text its value. So if I go again, inspect. So as you can see, I have something called title. I want to grab this title here. So I have my item. I want to grab the title here, and then I need to update the value. So I can see selected item because I selected it. Query selector, and I need to select the title here, or I can just pass the p tag. It's fine. And then those inner text. Now I'm changing the inner text to value. And like that, I've changed or I modified the inner text. That's good. But now I need to go to my data and modify it as well. How can I modify my data? Any idea? How can I modify my data? I can use find, right? Can I or not?
Yes.
So I will try to find the item here. I can use filter, by the way, but it doesn't matter really. So let's see, const item, let's say data. I need to grab the data no matter what. So I will say data dot items dot find, and find, as you know, find here, it will take the item, and then it will check if item.id is equal to my ID. If it grabs, then it will return me my object. So all I have to do now, I need to just say item data.text is equal to value. And here I need to empty the stuff here after I finish. So I will change the button to submit. I need also to empty the value. So I say DOM.input dot value, it must be empty string, and I need to remove the class which is called selected, and we are done like that. Let's see, let's grab and let's notice. So here, click buy vegetables and v, enter, voila, now it's been updated. And notice I don't have any select class anymore, it's gone. Now let's try to update it again. Let's click on this one, v and m, and here I will click on edit. Notice what will happen. I have a class selected now. When I click on this button, it will be updated, and select class, it will be removed. Notice, click, and voila, it's moved, and voila. And that's how we do the project. It's cool, huh? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
We have now only one event, and this one is the simplest thing ever. How can we clear all the item? It's very, very, very simple. So let's go. We are done with this one. 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 We just need to select this clear all. So I need to add a new event, of course, because it's a new button. So I will go here and I will name it clear all event .js. That's very simple. So here I will just say const clear all, see, event. I will just put my stuff here. And of course, as you know, because it's an event, I need directly, what the hell is going on here? Clear is assigned as value number. Let me just export it directly because I need to use it. And voila, and now here I need to import it inside init. So let me import it here. So I'll just import clear all event. And now here I need to execute it. But the functionality is super simple. Let's see. Voila. Okay. Now here, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Clear all. I need to create my function here, and of course I need to import my DOM because I need to add event listener to button, clear button also DOM. Sorry, import DOM. Come on. Import DOM. And here I need to add .js, as you know. Okay, fine. I am importing my DOM. Import DOM from this one. Expected one line. Sometimes that's annoying. So now here I just in DOM dot clear button. So there's a clear button here, the button I want to, and I can add event listener. And when the event happen, of course, the event is click. Then I can call my handler. And my handler here, I will name it clear all handler. Do I have clear all handler or not?
Not yet.
Not yet. So let me import it anyway. And then now I will need to create import voila this guy from handler dot clear all handler. So let me create it. Where is that my handler? Click. And here I can just put this guy .js. And now let's create it. Const voila. It's equal to arrow function. And I need to export it, of course. If I don't export it, it will be a problem. Voila. And now everyone's happy. Now, what should I do when I'm trying to clear all? Well, it's super simple. What I need to do, I need to empty all the DOM element. So first I need to import the DOM here, import DOM. Or no, maybe I don't need, but it's okay, I will import the DOM here. And also I will import the data. Import data. Because I need to modify both. Voila. Let's save it. What the hell is going on here? Okay. So I have my DOM and my data. So what should I do in the DOM? I need to clear all the item. What will be the easiest way, Daria? You just mentioned it before some time.
Yeah, equal to empty array.
Yeah, so I can just say DOM dot, where is my to-dos? That's my to-dos, right?
Mhm.
Dot inner HTML, not inner text. Inner text, it will not work, huh? Inner HTML and make it empty string. That means I'm removing everything. All the item inside my DOM, I'm removing it. Notice this method here, you should avoid it until some special cases. Now here in my case, I want to get rid of all of things, all the data. I don't care. That's why I'm using it. But in general, you should be careful when you are using it. You need to know when to use it. In this example, I use it, but other example is not a good idea. Now here, I need to modify my data as well. But how can I modify my data? It's simple. I can just say data dot items. It's equal to what? Empty array. And voila. That's super simple, huh? Voila, magic. Let's see.
And what is the better solution
What's better than, you mean this one?
than empty string? Yeah.
Where it was? Clear all. This one, you mean? Well, the better solution, it will be for now, it doesn't matter because I'm trying to get rid of all of them. But the better solution, it will be all the time you try to loop through or try to select all the elements and loop through them, then delete them and remove them. You got the point? Because here, what it's doing here, it's just emptying the whole page. And that's not always the case. In certain cases, like the example I am using, it's good practice. But in the other approach, for example, let's say your website and you try to empty something in your website, you should try to avoid that. Unless you want to empty everything, like in my case, I just want to get rid of them. That's why I say inner HTML is equal to empty string. That's okay. Okay, Agnieszka?
Yes, so in other way, you have to loop through all the
Yes.
stuff and then remove.
Yes. So normally we shouldn't just empty stuff like that. We should even select specific element, delete it, or maybe select a lot of element and loop through them to do something. Unless in my case, as you can see, I just want to get rid of all of them and I don't want the data anymore. And that's why I'm emptying everything.
Okay.
See if that will work. Refresh, clear all. Voila, as you can see, it's working perfectly. Of course, if I refresh it, my data will come back. And now here, I can edit item if I want to, like that and like that. I can add an item. I can edit an item. Well, as you can see, I can delete an item and I can delete all, and my project work 100%. And voila, magic.
And for example, you can remove all the items and display the message that you can lay down and watch Netflix.
Again.
Yeah, so like if you click remove all, so you did all the chores that you had, and you can display the message, for example, that now you can rest, like here.
Well, we can if you want to.
Mhm.
If you want to, we can. So what we can do here, okay. So now when I empty everything, this guy is empty, which is to-dos, right?
Yes.
Okay, now what I can do here, I can just say if, for example, data.item.length is equal to 0. So I'm checking the item is 0, but I don't want the data actually, I want the DOM one. So maybe I can say DOM.todos. I want the DOM one, not the data. It's not important for me. So I can just say if DOM dot to-dos. Do I have to-dos on the DOM? Yes. Dot children dot length is equal to 0. That means it has no children, as we studied yesterday, this one.
So now the create element div with the text,
So
for
I
example.
can create my element and then I can do whatever I want to. Yeah, but I am expecting this one. No. Thank you. And I need something here.
The opening curly brace.
Yeah, I know, but okay. Yeah, it's fine now. So now here, as you can see, if the children is 0, I can create a new message and show it. And if the children is not 0, I can do something else. But I mean, it's okay. It's fine. It's not a problem. Is it clear now?
Samir, can you show the add item handler? There's something I need to check.
The item.
The handler.
Show me. What is wrong?
Okay. From when item data dot text equals value, and then you take the input, you remove everything.
You mean
And
here?
then yeah. I just wanted to be sure what the
Okay.
events, how they followed each other.
Okay, so now here we are selecting our item because we already add class selected in update item handler, right? We are selecting it. We are making the inner text the new value. That's the value here, which will receive it from here. It will be the new value. Voila, that's the new value here. We're receiving it from here. Okay, fine. We got the value. We are updating the DOM here. So here we are updating the DOM. Now here, I want also the item ID. So I'm saying select item.id, but it will give me a string because that's DOM element. I'm trying to access the ID, it will be string. So I need to convert it to a number. When I convert it to a number, now I'm trying to find this item with ID 1. So I'm trying to get this object. That's my object here. And then here I need to update the text, not the ID, only the text. So I say item data.text, it's equal to the new value. And after I finish the new value here, now I need to empty the input. So I will say DOM.input.value. That means everything the user typed in the input, I want to delete it. And also I want to change that the button. The button was edit. Now I need to make it submit. DOM.submit.inner text, I make it submit. And after that here, I need to remove the class selected. So selected item.classlist.remove selected. There's nothing wrong. Everything is okay. What is the problem?
Oh, no, now it's clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. So I'm just here, I'm selecting find, it will return the item. If it finds the item, it will return an object. So here it is, that's my item data. Then I'm just updating the text. I don't need to update the ID, only the text, because I'm updating the item. If I'm creating the item here, it's happen. But if I'm updating the item, this one will happen. Voila. Yeah. Let me think of, I think I'm missing something. Look, yeah, this message is ugly. So let me try to fix it. I think we are adding a class called something, let me see. Yeah, it has a class called error1, if I'm not mistaken. DOM.error class list .add maybe this one error1, I'm not sure, but let's see. Voila. And here I can remove the class same idea. Voila. Let's refresh it. Yes, and as you can see, it show my message here a little bit nicely, and then now it disappear. It's not disappearing. Why? That's bad. Mhm. Okay, why is not working? Let me check my function here.
Samir, you use deployed version.
I
It's
use
not from your VS Code. It's deployed. It's from GitHub. Check your.
yeah. Yeah. Yep. Thank you. Yeah, that's mine. Voila, it's working. Yeah. And it's working perfectly. Nice. So I was using the version on GitHub. Of course, it is not related to my code. That's my code. Voila. And voila, everything should be fine. I think it's a nice project. And if you're able to build this project, you can build anything else because all the projects simply they are the same. It's just the scale is a little bit different. That's it. Stop recording. If you have any question, you can ask me.